Hi, my name's Edyn. I'm a plus size yoga instructor, and today we're going to be having Yogi Playtime. I know that when we're in the middle of our flows, balancing poses like tree, warrior three, and half moon can be really hard to stick. So what do? We practice. So grab your blocks, grab your mat, and we're going to practice these balancing poses for about 20 minutes so that we can get more comfortable with them during yoga flows. Grab a set of blocks. You can also use a chair or a stool or the wall during this Yogi Playtime. Like I said, balancing poses can be tough, even for me. I don't always get my balancing pose during practice, but that's why it's called practice. We'll never be perfect at them. So today we're gonna have a little playtime with tree pose, warrior three, and half moon pose, but today we're going to start with tree pose. So there are levels for every single pose. Here we're just going to have a little micro bend in our knee, which just means that our knees aren't locked out. So it doesn't mean that your knees are necessarily bent, it just means that your legs aren't locked. So we're going to shift our weight to our right foot. So you see that shift, slight shift. And then we're just going to tent our toe. And it can rest on your ankle. And this can be your version of tree pose. So your hands can be at prayer, or you can grow your branches. This may be easy for you, it may be hard for you, but this is tree pose. So we'll just stay here for a little bit, feeling ourselves sway a little bit, trying to move back to that right. And make sure that your tailbone isn't pushing out. Make sure it's just at a neutral position. Chest is up strong, core is tight, lifting you upwards. It's gonna help with your balance, and there's your tree pose. So let's go ahead and shake it out a little bit, and then shift our weight to the left side. Tent our toes. Tuck our tailbone under just slightly so it's facing down towards the ground. You don't wanna flip it forward, but you don't want an arch in your back either, just a neutral tailbone. Embrace the core, pulling your ribs upwards. Micro bend in your knee. Tree pose. Just balance here for a little bit. Perfect. And shake it out. Now we're going to move to level 2 of a tree pose. So same thing, we're going to shift our weight. Make sure that our body's fully aligned. You just want your body to be like one even line. You don't want your tailbone pushed out, you don't want your shoulders pushed forward, you want everything up towards the sky. So we're gonna take the sole of our foot and place it on our calf. Make sure that your knee is rotated out and open. And you can bring your arms here. This is my typical tree pose to prayer. Or you can grow your branches, which takes a little bit more practice. For all of these poses, you want to be looking at something that's not moving. So preferably not looking at me because I'm doing this, but just looking at a spot on the ground to keep focus on. That is called your dristi in yoga. So this is tree pose level 2. Shake out your legs and then shift over to the left side. You can start with the tent if you need to, and then slowly draw up, whatever you need to do. Finding your dristi, your spot on the ground. Pressing all of your toes into the ground, almost gripping the mat with your toes and really feeling your heel root down into the ground and your toes gripped. That's how you know you're engaging your entire foot. Wobbling's okay. I'm wobbling. Hands here, here, here. Wavy branches, tree in the wind. That's level 2. Level 3 I actually can't do. Maybe I can. So level 3 on the thigh. The reason I say I can't do level 3 is because we never want level 3 to be resting on our knee joint. You don't want your heel to be pushing into your knee. So if you're able to bring your foot up into your thigh and keep it on your thigh without pressing your knee. Maybe I can do it a little bit. That's great, but we don't want it on the knee. Above the knee is great, on the knee is bad. And let's try that on the opposite side. We'll see if the opposite side is different. So you can either reach for your leg for assistance. That's harder, by the way, but if you need to, you can do that. So I like to reach for mine, and then pressing my foot into the ground, making sure I'm above my knee at all times, never pressing on my knee. Perfect. You guys are nailing it, I can feel it. Great. And that is our tree pose. Next, we're gonna move into Warrior 3. As you can see, I have my blocks on the highest setting. You can grab your chair or your stool now. We're just gonna use this to hang on, so it's totally up to you what level you need. You can even do these on the lower setting if you think you just need something to grab onto. So for Warrior 3, we need to start in Warrior 1. So that means our hips are closed and square to the front, basically level with these blocks. You are lunging into your front leg, whichever leg you chose to bring forward, and your left foot is down on the mat. And it's just about at a 45-degree angle. If I were on a mat, it would be pointing up towards the top corner of my mat, the top left corner. So for Warrior 3, you're gonna start to shift your weight into your front leg. And slowly let your toes float off the mat. So this, if you need more balance, could be your Warrior 3. If you need help a little bit, you can rest on the blocks, and this can be your Warrior 3. If you can't fully balance, you can use the blocks or a chair for balance and lift your leg fully off the ground for Warrior 3. What we want is to have our back straight and flat. So head's not looking up, head is looking down at a spot on the ground that's not moving. So you can do this with blocks, a chair, a wall, or you can float. Beautiful. How was your float? Was it good? I bet. So now we're going to do that on the opposite side. Left leg forward, toes, my heels down on the ground, toes are pointing up towards this front block here on the right. We're going to shift our weight into our left leg. Toes are going to float. This is a Warrior 3. It's perfect. Your toes are up, you're balancing in this front leg. This is a perfect Warrior 3. If you're still practicing, hands can come to blocks, leg comes into the air, all of your weight is in your front left leg, toes are digging into the ground, heel is rooted. Try not to rely too much on the blocks, but rely on the strength of your leg. And then if you have the block variation down, you can float. I couldn't float. I do better without stopping at blocks first. So if you want to forego the blocks altogether, so you're leaning forward, toes start to float, back leg floats, arms float. Great. We got that? Warrior 3. You can always pause this and keep playing through whichever ones you like the most. Next one we're going to do is half moon pose. Okay, half moon is very similar to Warrior 3, except for in Warrior 3, your hips are closed and square. In Warrior 2, your hips are open, so when you go into half moon, your hips are also open. So we're going to start in Warrior 2. I'm not using a mat, so hopefully I'm not going to slip too much. So we're starting in Warrior 2. You're looking over your front fingers like you would be in Warrior Two. You're gonna start to shift your weight to whichever leg is in front. So for me, this is the right leg right now. So you see what we're doing? Same thing, coming to your toe. If this is hard, if this is balanced for you, then that's perfect. If you can come to your toe, that's perfect. Otherwise, you're gonna start to flex your foot as you come down towards your block. Pressing your foot like you're pressing against a wall. Nice and firm and strong. It should feel like you can kick someone behind you. Very strong, active leg. Then you're going to embrace your core. And once your core is engaged, you can lift your hand for half moon. And then bring it down. So half moon is always the easiest of these three poses for me, but it does take a lot of engagement. Strong, strong leg. Every muscle in your leg will be active, and flexing your foot and pushing will really help to activate that leg. And then pulling in your core. Like, have you ever put on a corset? When I say light up your core, when your hand's on your block, feel like someone put a corset on you. And then with your breath, light, calm breaths, open up into your half moon. So we'll try that one more time on this side. So Warrior Two, looking over your fingers, start to shift your weight forward. Toes come here. If you're comfortable here, arm comes up. Great half moon. If you'd like to level up just a tiny bit or challenge yourself a little, flex the foot. Push, push, push. Pull in the core. Making sure that all of your toes are pressing into the ground. Your heel is rooted. Arm comes up. Gaze can be wherever you want, it's fine. This is also a half moon option. Hand, foot flexed, nice and hard. This is just as hard as the standing version. Beautiful. Now let's do the opposite side. Warrior Two. And for the block placement, I like to put my block not at the top of my mat, but right in the front of my mat. So your mat ends, my block's here. But play around with it, something different may work for you. So we have our block here. We're in Warrior Two. We're looking intensely over our front fingers, as we should be. Slowly start to tip forward. Play with your balance, lifting your foot a little bit. Maybe that's good for you. Maybe here. That's perfect. It's still balancing. It's still yoga. It's still beautiful. I love this. Now let's try for the full half moon. And you can do this touching the ground as well, not touching a block. I prefer to use a block. So Warrior Two, I start to tip forward. My foot, strong, like it's kicking against a wall. I pull in my core. I look at something that's not moving and extend my arm up. Beautiful. And if you want, you can reach for your leg. Maybe we'll do that eventually with the strap. I can teach you that. And if you want to try it without a block, I don't practice this very often, but I'll try it for you. Here we go. Same thing, tipping forward, reaching for the ground. Foot long and strong. My fingers are tented on the ground. Pull my core in and up. Okay. And we can try that on the opposite side. If you want to try full half moon without the block, I prefer the block, guys, but it's totally up to you. It's your practice. Gazing over. Start to tip forward. Leg long, kicking. Woo! Like you're against the wall. Foot engaged. Pressing, pressing, pressing into the floor. Core in. Gentle breath. Extend up. Great. I hope that was fun for you guys. Whew, I worked up a little bit of a sweat. Just me? Probably just me. I hope you guys enjoyed this Yogi Playtime. Just to walk you through some of these poses and how you do them. I know I forgot to demo the half moon on the left on the knee, but you can practice that and pause this video anytime you need a little extra time with a pose. Again, blocks can be hanging onto the wall like this for your warrior 3 on the wall. That can be it too. A stool will work perfect if you don't have blocks. Anything can be a yoga accessory as long as it's sturdy. Walls are very sturdy. But I want to thank you guys for practicing with me. I hope you had some fun doing some balancing poses outside of the traditional yoga flow, and that you will practice on your own. So as we all grow in our practice, you'll be able to do your own variation of these balancing poses. And just remember, you're not meant to do a yoga pose or fit a yoga pose. You have to make the pose fit you in your body. Your beautiful variation of the pose is the way that it's supposed to be, as long as there's not any pain associated with that pose. So thank you guys for practicing with me again. Don't forget, I'm not just your friendly internet yoga teacher. DM me on Instagram if something isn't working, if something isn't feeling right, if you want me to see how your pose looks so that we can talk through it. I'm always here to help, and I'll talk to you guys really soon. Namaste, yogis.